All right, guys, so we're on to the next chapter of The Witches. I told you in the last video that the next chapter was called Formula 86 Delayed Action Mouse Maker. And I really didn't have a prediction for what this chapter might be. So I'm going to tell you what I want the connection question to be. And I want you to think about how that might be giving us some information about what this is going to be about. So the connection question is, what are your favorite candies and junk food? So I don't want you to make a list of them. I want you to write them in paragraph form, telling me what your favorite kinds of candies are, what your favorite kinds of junk food are. And think about how that could be giving us kind of a hint as to what this chapter might be all about. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. In our last chapter, we just watched the Grand High Witch kind of punish one of the other witches for kind of speaking back to her about not being able to get rid of all of the children. So here we go. "Children are revolting," screamed the Grand High Witch. "We will wipe them all away. We will scrub them off the face of the earth. We will flush them down the drain." "Yes, yes," chanted the audience. "Wipe them away, scrub them off the earth, flush them down the drain." "Children are foul and filthy," thundered the Grand High Witch. They are, chorused the English witches. "They are foul and filthy." "Children are dirty and stinky," screamed the Grand High Witch. "Dirty and stinky," screamed the audience, getting more and more worked up. "Children are smelling of dogs' droppings," screeched the Grand High Witch. "Pooh!" cried the audience. "Pooh! Pooh! Pooh!" "They are worse than dogs' droppings," screeched the Grand High Witch. "Dogs' droppings is smelling like violets and primroses compared with children." "Violets and primroses," chanted the audience. They were clapping, cheering almost every word spoken from the platform. The speaker seemed to have them completely under her spell. "To talk about children is making me sick," screamed the Grand High Witch. "I am feeling sick even thinking about them. Fetch me a basin." The Grand High Witch paused and glared at the mass of eager faces in the audience. They waited, wanting more. "So now," barked the Grand High Witch, "so now I am having a plan. I am having a giganticus plan for getting rid of every single child in this whole England." The witches gasped. They gaped. They turned and gave each other ghoulish grins of excitement. "Yes," thundered the Grand High Witch. "We shall swish them and swallop them, and we shall make to disappear every single smelly little brat in England in one stroke." "Whoopee!" cried the witches, clapping their hands. "You are brilliant, your Grand Highness. You are fantabulous." "Shut up and listen," snapped the Grand High Witch. "Listen very carefully and let us not be having any muck-ups." The audience leaned forward, eager to hear how this magic was going to be performed. "Each and every one of you," thundered the Grand High Witch, "is to go back to your hometowns immediately and resign from your jobs. Resign, give notice, retire." "We will," they cried. "We will resign from our jobs." "And after you have resigned from your jobs," the Grand High Witch went on, "each and every one of you will be going out and you will be buying." She paused. "What will we be buying?" they cried. "Tell us, O brilliant one. What is it we shall be buying?" "Sweet chops!" shouted the Grand High Witch. "Sweet chops!" they cried. "We are going to buy sweet chops. What a frumptuous wheeze!" "Each of you will be buying for herself a sweet shop. You will be buying the very best and most respectable sweet shops in England." We will, they answered. Their dreadful voices were like chorus of dentist drills and grinding away together. I am wanting no tumpany, halfpenny, crumpy little tobacco-selling newspaper sweet chops, shouted the Grand High Witch. I am wanting you to get only the very best shops, filled up high with piles and piles of luscious sweets and tasty chocks. The best, they cried. We shall buy the best sweet chops in town. You will be having no trouble in getting what you want, shouted the Grand High Witch, because you will be offering 4 times as much as a shop is worth, and nobody is refusing an offer like that. Money is not a problem to us witches, as you know very well. I have brought with me 6 trunks stuffed full of English banknotes, all new and crisp. And all of them, she added with a fiendish leer, all of them homemade. The witches in the audience grinned, appreciating this joke. At that point, one foolish witch got so excited at the possibilities presented by owning a sweet shop that she leapt to her feet and shouted, The children will come flocking to my shop, and I will feed them poisoned sweets and poisonous chocks, and will wipe them out like weasels. The room became suddenly silent. I saw the tiny body of the Grand High Witch stiffen and then go rigid with rage. Who spoke? She shrieked. It was you over there! The culprit sat down fast and covered her face with her clawed hands. You blithering bumpkin! Screeched the Grand High Witch. You brainless bog vumper! Are you not realizing that if you are going round poisoning little children, you will be caught in 5 minutes flat? Never in my life am I hearing such bosh-developing suggestions coming from a witch. The entire audience cowered and shook. I'm quite sure they all thought as I did that the terrible white-hot sparks were about to start flying again. Curiously enough, they didn't. If such a tom-fiddling idea is all you can come up with, thundered the Grand High Witch, then it is no wonder England is still swarming with rotten children. There was another silence. The Grand High Witch glared at the witches in the audience. Do you not know, she shouted at them, that we witches are working only with magic? We know, your Grand Highness, they all answered. Of course we know. The Grand High Witch grated her bony gloved hands against each other and cried out, So each of you is owning a magnificent sweet shop. The next move is that each of you will be announcing in the window of your shop that on a certain day you will be having a great gala opening with free sweets and chocks to every child. That will bring them in, the greedy little brutes, cried the audience. They'll be fighting to get through the doors. Next, continued the Grand High Witch, you will prepare yourselves for this great gala opening by filling every chock and sweet in your shop with my very latest and greatest magic formula. It is known as Formula 68 Delayed Action Mouse Maker. Delayed Action Mouse Maker, they chanted. She's done it again. Her Grand Highness has concocted yet another of her wondrous magic child killers. How do we make it, oh brilliant one? Exercise patience, answered the Grand High Witch. First, I am explaining to you how my Formula 68 Delayed Action Mouse Maker is working. Listen carefully. We are listening, cried the audience, who were now jumping up and down in their chairs with excitement. Delayed Action Mouse Maker is a green liquid, explained the Grand High Witch. And one droplet in each choc or sweet will be quite enough. So here is what happens. Child eats choc. Vic has in it Delayed Action Mouse Maker liquid. Child goes home feeling fine. Child goes to bed still feeling fine. Child wakes up in the morning is still okay. Child goes to school still feeling fine. Formula, you understand, is delayed action, and it is not working yet. We understand, oh brainy one, cried the audience. But when does it start working? It is starting to work at exactly 9 o'clock when the child is arriving at school, shouted the Grand High Witch triumphantly. Child arrives at school. Delayed action mouse maker immediately starts to work. Child starts to shrink. Child is starting to grow fur. Child is starting to grow tail. All is happening in precisely 26 seconds. After 26 seconds, child is not a child any longer. Child is a mouse. A mouse! Cried the witches. What a scrumptious thought. Classroom will all be swarming with mice, shouted the Grand High Witch. Chaos and pandemonium will be reigning in every school in England. Child will be hopping up and down. Teachers will be hopping up and down. Women teachers will be standing on desks and holding up skirts and yelling, help, help, help. They will, cried the audience. And what, shouted the Grand High Witch, is happening next in every school? Tell us, they cried. Tell us, oh brainy one. The Grand High Witch stretched her stringy neck toward the crowd, grinned at the audience, showing the 2 rows of pointy teeth, slightly blue in color. She raised her voice louder than ever and shouted, Mousetraps is coming out! Mousetraps, cried the witches. And cheese, shouted the Grand High Witch. Teachers is all rushing and running out and getting mousetraps and baiting them with cheese and putting them all over the school. Mice is nibbling cheese. Mousetraps is going off. All over school, mousetraps is going snappity snap, and mouse heads is rolling across the floor like marbles. All over England, in every school in England, noise of snapping mousetraps will be heard. At this point, the disgusting old Grand High Witch began to do some sort of witch's dance. Up and down the platform, stamping her feet and clapping her hands. The entire audience joined in, clapping and foot stamping. They were making such a tremendous racket, I thought for sure Mr. Stringer would hear it and come banging at the door. But he didn't. Then, above all the noise, I heard the Grand High Witch screaming out some sort of awful, gloating song. Down with children, do them in, boil their bones and fry their skin. Bish them, squish them, bash them, mash them, break them, shake them, slash them, smash them. Offer chalks with magic powder, say eat up. Then say it louder, cream them full of sticky eats, send them home still guzzling sweets. And in the morning, little fools go marching off to separate schools. A girl child sick goes all pale. She yells, hey, look, I've grown a tail. A boy who's standing next to her screams, help, I think I'm growing fur. Another shouts, we look like freaks. There's whiskers growing on our cheeks. There's whiskers growing on our cheeks. A boy who was extremely tall cries out, what's wrong? I'm growing small. 4 tiny legs begin to sprout from everybody round about. And all at once, all in a trice, there are no children, only mice. In every school is mouse galore, all running round the schoolroom floor. And all the poor demented teachers is yelling, hey, who are these creatures? They stand upon the desks and shout, get out, you filthy mice, get out. Will someone fetch some mousetraps, please? And don't forget to bring the trees. Now mousetraps come in every trap. Go snippity snip and snappity snap. The mousetraps have a powerful spring. The springs go crack, crack, snap, and ping. Is lovely noise for us to hear. Is music to a witch's ears. Dead mice is every place around. piled 2 feet deep upon the ground, with teachers searching left and right, but not a single child in sight. The teachers cried, "What's going on? Oh, where have all the children gone? It's 9:30, and as a rule, they're never supposed to be late for school. Poor teachers don't know what to do. Some sit and read, and just a few amuse themselves throughout the day by sweeping all the mice away, and all us witches shout, 'Hooray!'" Here's an illustration to support that little poem song we just heard there. There's the teachers sweeping up the mice. And that, my friends, is the end of the chapter. That chapter, again, was called Formula 86, Delayed Action Mouse Maker. And I think that we have learned what exactly the chapter was named Formula 86, Delayed Action Mouse Maker for. And here are the 3 questions that you'll need to answer for your bonus points this time around. The first one, I want you to summarize the Grand High Witch's evil plan to get rid of the children of England. That's at the beginning of the video. Make sure you go back if you need to. You're going to summarize. Remember, a summary is just a few sentences written as a paragraph to kind of highlight the most very important parts of this chapter. And we want you to summarize the plan to get rid of the children of England. And then number 2 is you're going to describe what will happen to children who eat the Formula 86 Delayed Action Mouse Maker. So what's going to happen to them. Be specific because there's a lot of details there. And then number 3, choose 2 adjectives to describe the Grand High Witch. And then I want you to justify your answer. So adjectives are describing words. So first you need to write a sentence telling me what those 2 adjectives you've chosen are. How would you describe her? And then justify your answer choices with evidence from the paragraph. So use evidence to say why you chose those and how they are a good fit. Okay, so that is all for that chapter. The next chapter is called The Recipe. So please have these answers to me no later than Friday. I'm going to be sending you the next video on Friday. So thanks, guys.